from PickDawgz here with part 2 of our college football picks, covering all of the games that start at 6 p.m. Eastern Time or later. Of course, I do free picks every day at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We got a new website. Should be launching the early part of next week. I'm really excited about it. It's going to have a premium area. It's going to have all sorts of stuff. So be sure to jump on it. But right now, it's just the second part of week 5 of college football season. Excuse me. But of course, we're going to wrap it all up. We gave out tons of free picks yesterday, and we're going to give out a ton today as well. But hopefully you guys are off to a great start to your day. I know we had a really nice show this morning. And, not such a great Thursday night football, but that's going to happen. But we got a chance to bounce back in a big way. We got 4 college football games tonight. And we've got 4 college football games tonight. And, of course, we've got tons of action. So we're going to cover the rest of it for Saturday, but hello to everyone that's joining us. Hello, Chris. Good afternoon. Hello to everyone. Win some, lose some. Yep, last night. I'll tell you, like I said on this morning show, I've never seen like the gloating, of winning a game. Chris Ruffalo, who was the first one to comment here, he was a writer for me over at Sports Chat for the longest time. And really forever, right? But, Chris knows as well as anybody. You win some, you lose some. And when baseball, right, like Bull Durham, sometimes it rains. But it's like you never get too high on your highs and you never get too lows on your lows because you don't have time to, because tomorrow is always another day. And just as good or as bad as your picks were one day, it has a way of working itself out. That's why I'm not a big fan of teasers, not a big fan of anything like that, of buying juice, any of those things, buying points, because you got to maximize every single win that you get out there. But anyways, we'll give everybody a couple minutes to join us. We'll get it rolling. Hopefully you guys got the notifications. And like I said, we left off yesterday on anything that started before 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Still got a lot of chicken on the bone here. Yeah, I was on Green Bay, and I tell you, I bet Green Bay the second half as well. And I'll tell you what, if they played again tomorrow, I'd bet Green Bay again. Sometimes it just happens that way. That's just what happens. But let's get back to college football. Hit the 6 o'clock games. Troy versus, sorry, we do the 5 o'clock. We got Marshall taking on Cincinnati. Cincinnati favored by 3 points here on the road. Of course, Marshall, that fierce defense. I tell you, Marshall getting 3 points at home against Cincinnati. I'm going to have to go with Marshall in this one, getting the 3 points. I think this is a really, really close, low-scoring game. And I think we're going to be happy to have the points in our back pocket. This could be a 1, 2, 3-point game. We've got Troy taking on Arkansas State. Troy 2-1 on the season. Arkansas State 2-2. Troy wins over Akron 35-7, laying 18.5. Losers to Southern Miss by 5 when they were 3-point favorites, and winners over Campbell. Meanwhile, we look at Ark State win over Southern Illinois, win over UNLV. 55-0 at Georgia, and 37-30 to SMU. Not a lot of shame in that. So a little tough to look at this one. But Troy 7-point favorites in this one. 75% of the money in the public on Troy in this game. Just seems a little too heavy for just a 1-point movement. I'm going to take Ark State and the points in this one. I like Troy to probably win, but I think Arkansas State plus the 7 is the way to go. Of course, if you're watching us live, be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe to our channel. Costs you nothing. Helps keep everything free. And we're going to have free picks on every game, every day at the new website. Should be launching Monday, Tuesday in that area. I don't know if the YouTube notifications went out or not, but we have gotten started. Not a lot of people watching us. That's why I'm asking if they went out or not, but not a big deal one way or another. People can watch the replay. Head to Old Dominion, taking on East Carolina. Got Old Dominion laying 2.5, 1-2 coming into this one. ECU 2-2. The money coming in on Old Dominion, but the line going the other way. So we're hearing that YouTube notifications once again did not go out. They didn't go out this morning, and they did not go out for this one. But Old Dominion has lost their last two, losing to Virginia Tech by 14, losing to Virginia by 11. So that's just, those are two fairly tough teams, both those games on the road. Meanwhile, East Carolina beat William and Mary and Gardner-Webb, losses to Navy and NC State in one-sided games. I like Old Dominion in this one. I'll lay the 2.5 points at home. Head to our next game. So I'm guessing the notifications did not go out. Got a light crowd, and that would pretty much explain it. Go to the game between Liberty and New Mexico. Liberty riding a 2-game winning streak after starting the season 0-2. New Mexico 2-1, throttled at Notre Dame, and then that war against New Mexico State. The world is on Liberty in this one, 72% of the money, but the line has gone down 0.5 point. I'll take New Mexico plus the 7.5. I don't know if they win the game, but I like them with the points. The next one is Georgia Southern up against Louisiana Lafayette. Georgia Southern 1-2 coming into this one. ULL 3-1. It's that time of the season where teams have played totally different schedules. So when we look at Lafayette, win over Liberty, Texas Southern, and Ohio. The loss to Mississippi State by 10 points in a game they were getting 19. Meanwhile, Georgia Southern 3-point loss last week to Minnesota as a 17-point dog. Win over Maine and a loss to LSU. No shame in any of those losses. I'm going to take Georgia Southern in this one. I like them, and I like them at home. So we'll take Georgia Southern as a home dog, getting 3.5. We'll move right along to UCF against UConn. UCF 43-point favorites, 6 touchdowns for those of you doing the simple math. So people say, so Justin had to refresh YouTube. I'm not sure what that means, but I'm going to guess he didn't get notifications that we were live. But UCF laying 6 touchdowns and change. This is a lot of points. I got to take UConn as much as I really will not be betting this game. This is way too many points. 43. Rice taking on Louisiana Tech. Louisiana Tech laying 10 points on the road. Rice, only 24% of the public on Rice, yet the line has dropped a point. I don't care. I'm still taking La Tech. They've played a tough schedule, and we know that they can put up points in a hurry. So I'm hearing the video is fuzzy, but it looks pretty clear on my end. I'm shooting with 4K camera. We have Stanford taking on Oregon State at Corvallis. Oregon State 1-2, Stanford 1-3. Stanford's looked terrible this season. I'm not sure how they're favored against anybody on the road. I know Oregon State's been terrible for quite some time. I don't care. I'm taking the Beavers here, plus 3.5. I like a good home dog. Not saying that they're good. I'm just saying they're a good home dog. Next one, we go to the Big 12, where Oklahoma State is taking on Kansas State. And Oklahoma State, 5-point favorites in this one, 63% of the public. Kansas State 3-0 coming in. Oklahoma State 3-1. Lost the battle, won the war against Texas in that game that they lost, but they're 4-0 against the number. Kansas State 3-0 against the number. Someone's O has got to go. I just like Kansas State in this one. I think they got a good chance to win this game outright. So we'll take K-State plus the 5, but I think they have a good chance on the money line. We'll see in my best bets if they make it as a money line pick. Southern Miss taking on UTEP. UTEP, not a good team, but 26.5 points is a ton in college football. It's almost 4 touchdowns. I think we'll take Southern Miss here, but I'm not going to be betting this thing at minus 26.5. If anyone has a good argument going the other way in this game, I'm all ears. I probably could be flipped pretty easily. We got Western Kentucky getting 3 at home against UAB. We've been riding UAB this season. No reason to get off the horse now. We'll take UAB laying a field goal against a Western Kentucky team that seems to be going in the wrong direction. Another team that we've been riding all season is Auburn. And some of their biggest games this season, including last week against Texas A&M, have been on the road. And now they're home and against Mississippi State, who's been pretty good this season. But Auburn 4-0, my pick to win the SEC. I think they dominate in this game. I think they take over. I think they shut down that Mississippi State offense with that defensive line. I'll take Auburn and I'll lay the 4 points. I like this one a lot. Of course, tomorrow when I'm live at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, I will show you guys what I feel are my best bets for the week. I have quite a few of them on this card, including a couple of the games that I've already gone over on this show, as I'm putting little asterisks and stars next to them. And I'll tell you which games those are when we do the recap at the end as well. Anyways, keep going once again. We got Louisiana Monroe. We have a Dog of the Day video on YouTube. So if you want to know who the Dog of the Day is, by all means, head on over to our YouTube channel, subscribe, hit the thumbs up, and we have a section on the site called the Dog of the Day. And you could just click on today's and you can watch the video. It's about a minute and a half, 2 minutes maybe at the most. But since I don't have a premium area, since we don't have the website, since we don't have any, that's a very little fluff. It's mostly all pick and analysis. But we got Louisiana Monroe taking on South Alabama. Of course, South Alabama, USA. Gotta love that one. But I don't love them so much in this game. Louisiana Monroe has lost their last 2 games. The 1-pointer to FSU and then 72-20 against Iowa State in a game where I picked them plus the 17 points. Didn't work out too well. Meanwhile, South Alabama on the business end of a 35-3 beatdown at the hands of UAB, who we just talked about. 42-6 losers to Memphis, who we saw last night. You can put up points in a hurry. They opened the season with a strong performance at Nebraska, losing by 14 in a game they were getting 35. But I don't like them in this spot. I like Monroe to get back on the horse. I think this is a tougher team than what their record shows. We'll take ULM laying 16. It's a bun. You know what? I can't do that. ULM, South Alabama. Yeah, it came up ULM anyway. The coin flip goes to ULM minus 16. We're just ripping through all the games here. We did part 1 yesterday here on YouTube, so be sure to subscribe to our channel. Be sure to hit the like button. All these things help us a ton. Shouldn't cost you a dime or more than a couple seconds of your time. Yeah, we're just going through the schedule, so no reason to ask about games. We're just going to go through all of them. So actually, Nebraska-Ohio State is the next one on the schedule. But like I said, we went over all the early games yesterday. Any game that started before, that starts 4 o'clock or earlier Eastern time. And then today we're just doing the second half of the schedule. We're just going through them in order. So no reason to ask about games or whatever. We've either gone over them yesterday or we're going to go over them today. So Nebraska getting 17.5 against Ohio State. Of course, if you're subscribed to our YouTube channel, you also know that I've done individual videos on all of these games as well, so you can watch those too. Some of the picks have changed as we've gotten closer and the lines have moved, but most of the picks I've stayed pretty much where I'm at. And the ones where I have changed sides, I've said in the video that I might have a different pick come game day or as we get closer. Nebraska against Ohio State. I'm going to take Nebraska. I'm going to take Ohio State. I have gone against Nebraska plenty this season. I am really not a fan of the Huskers, and I think Ohio State can name their number here. I don't think it's. I think that. I don't see how Nebraska hangs here. I don't think they have the talent. I don't think they have what it takes to hang against Ohio State, who's a team that looks to be focused on getting to the playoff. I understand the notifications did not go out today for either show, but every day we're live at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Every Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we're live at 4 p.m. Eastern Time as well with our NFL and college football preview shows. I can't control the notifications. If I could, believe me, I'd send them all the time. Maybe we could do like, I don't know. Maybe I could do like one 5 minutes ahead of time and see if we can get a notification then. No idea. Kind of like a preview of the preview. Get to South Carolina as the Gamecocks take on Kentucky. South Carolina laying 2.5 points in this one. I like them at home too. I think South Carolina has had a tough schedule so far. And that loss at Missouri, I thought they were in that game most of the way. I thought they were going to cover. Couldn't get it done, but I take them in this one to cover it, minus the 2.5. We got Florida State taking on NC State with the Seminoles. 6-point favorites at home against the Wolfpack, and this line looks fishy to me because the Seminoles have not played well, and the Wolfpack have that one loss, and I think that they're a team that could probably beat almost anybody on every single day, on any single day, but it was that weird loss to West Virginia. They lost by 17 points in a game that the world was on them. And I think, when we saw that many people saying NC State was their top play for the day, I knew we were in trouble. It's one of those games where it's like I liked it, and then I saw how many people liked it, and then I got that sick feeling in my stomach. I don't have that sick feeling yet on this one. I'm going to take NC State. I'm going to be getting 6 points. I think this is an opportunity also to bet the money line. Put a little star next to that one. Got Utah State taking on Colorado State, and Utah State, even though they're 23.5-point favorites in this one, I still think they're one of the most underrated teams in the country. This team is rock solid, tough as nails. They beat the crap out of San Diego State last week, and I think they beat the crap out of Colorado State in this one. Utah State's a force, and I think you take away that game against Wake, and it was such a close game that could have gone either way. If they would have got the win there, they would possibly be looking at one of the big bowl games. Probably not going to a big bowl game, but they certainly deserve it, and I don't think anybody wants to play this team. I'm going to take Utah State laying 23.5, and I like this one a ton too. Of course, those of you joining us late, we're going through the second half of the college football schedule. Yesterday we did part 1, so if you're not watching us on YouTube, just head on over to our YouTube channel and just subscribe to our channel, and you can see the video there from yesterday's show. Plus, I have individual videos on a lot of these games. Speaking of a game, we got Wyoming taking on UNLV. The Cowboys have been one of our favorites this season, 3-1 against the number, 3-1 straight up. Meanwhile, UNLV 1-2 straight up, but 2-1 against the number, so they are kind of like our type of team. But tough to take them in this spot. The world on Wyoming here, but the line has dropped a point. I don't have the guts to do it. I wish I did. I'll take Wyoming and I'll lay the 9, but I don't think the Cowboys will be one of my top plays this week. I'm on the fence. I think that we might be hanging on a little too long. Fresno State taking on New Mexico State. New Mexico State getting 17.5 points in this one at home. Fresno's solid. I don't like laying, nearly 3 touchdowns on the road, but tough not to. I think New Mexico State can put a lot of points on the board, but I think they're going to have trouble stopping a more physical Fresno team. I'm going to take Fresno in this one. It's not one of my best bets, though. And tomorrow, if someone asks about it, I might have a different opinion. If you're in our Facebook group and you have an opinion on this game, you might be able to sway me. Our next one, we go North Texas taking on Houston. Of course, Houston's quarterback, receiver have decided not to play in this game and for the rest of the season. Hats off to Dana Holgorsen to convincing them to do that, which is crazy because I think both those guys could play in the NFL. But North Texas went from a 2.5-point dog to a 6-point favorite with just 36% of the money going on them. It seems almost like a sucker bet because it's like everyone knows that angle. But at the same time, most of the bets are coming in on Houston. You know what? I'm going to lay 6 with North Texas in this one, but I probably am not. I'm not rushing to the window to bet this thing. So in our next game, we got Utah taking on Washington State. The Utes, 5-point favorites against Washington State. Both these teams 3-1. Both these teams upset losers. Of course, Washington State, that big comeback loss to UCLA, and Utah losing to USC, just getting sliced up, and which worries me a little bit because Washington State has the ability to do the same thing. But I'm going to take Utah in this one. I'm going to lay the 5 points. I just think that they're the better team, and I think they have a better chance of stopping Washington State than Washington State has of stopping them. We go to our next game. Kevin Sumlin in Arizona laying 7.5 against UCLA. Of course, UCLA made a lot of friends last week with that comeback win against Washington State. I don't think they do it 2 weeks in a row. I think that was the highlight of their season. I'm going to take Arizona. I'm going to lay the 7 points with an experienced Arizona. 7.5 points. And in the nightcap, Nevada at home against Hawaii. 2 3-1 teams in this one. Nevada laying 2, and they were 2.5. It's dropped to 2. It's going to be, I don't, if it was in Hawaii, I would probably take Hawaii, but I'm not going to do it. I'm going to take Nevada in this one, and I'll lay the 2 points. So that wraps up this week of college football. I did part 1 yesterday, did part 2 today, and then, of course, tomorrow we'll do our regular live show. I think I'm going to start a couple minutes early, like 5 minutes of 11, 10 minutes of 11. So be sure to join us a little early because generally these Saturday shows run really long. So I want to make sure that we cover as much ground as we possibly can. So join us a couple minutes early, and you know, we'll get rolling a little bit early. But let's recap today's show. We took Marshall +3, Arkansas State +7, Old Dominion minus 2.5, New Mexico +7.5. Took Georgia Southern. We took UConn +43 against UCF. I might switch on that one again. We took La Tech +10 or -10. We took Oregon State +3.5 against Stanford. That one looks pretty juicy. I like Kansas State +5. I put a star next to that one. Southern Miss -26.5. UAB -3. Auburn -4. I put a star next to that one. ULM -16. Ohio State -17.5. Probably put a star next to that one. We took South Carolina -2.5. NC State +6. I got a star next to that one. Utah State -23.5. Star next to that one. Wyoming -9. Fresno State -17.5. North Texas -6. Utah -5. I like that one a bunch. Arizona -7.5. And Nevada -2. A lot of favorites there at the end. Anyways, this is Mitch. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day, everyone. Might see you tonight during halftime. If not, I'll catch you guys at 11 a.m. Eastern Time tomorrow morning. Thanks for joining us. Be sure to like our channel or subscribe to our channel and like our videos. It takes you about a half a second. Helps us a ton. I appreciate all the support. Be sure to join our Facebook group if you haven't already done so. And we got the new website opening up next week. I'm going to need all of your support to get this thing out there, up and rolling. Have a great day, everyone.